We're waiting. I was going to say we're waiting. Hello, everybody. We're live now. Hi, Rachel. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so it's Dr. Julie Gilbert here from Oregon Weight and Wellness, along with Rachel from Whole Life Health and Wellness. And
Yes.
We're coming at you live here on this gorgeous Thursday, the second day in a row of just much better weather. I'm going to say
Much better weather. And it's going to be like a heat wave today, right?
I
All of
know.
a sudden we go, boom, 80 degrees. It's going to be, woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Rachel, I wanted to let you know
Mhm.
that when the last time we met together, I was telling you about my foot was really hurting, and you're like, well, you know, and I was kind of mourning that I wasn't going to be able to run, and because I really enjoy that, getting my sweat on early in the morning. And she's like, Julie, do you have a bike? Oh yeah, I got a bike. So
Leave it to a coach.
I know. What else do you have? I think you
What
said,
else could we do?
what else could you do? You didn't tell me what to do. You asked me the question.
I did.
Yes. So very good. And so I set up my bike on my back porch. So I'm pedaling outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So,
That's a
I
great
could.
idea.
Well, see, and I did that when it was raining.
Mhm.
So now it's so gorgeous. I just go ride my bike in the morning. So I'm excited. So thank you for that, Rachel. Coach.
Oh my gosh. Hey, no problem. And way to go, Coachy, because you did that thing. You followed through with the idea and took the action step. That's the most important thing, right?
Right.
It's 20% knowledge, 80% action. And
Yes.
And how great. You got outside, the fresh air. You still get to get that morning light. Avoid some of the harsh weather because you're under your patio.
Right.
But getting your movement on. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and that all happened as part of connection, right?
Yes.
Which is what we really wanted to talk about today. We wanted to talk
Excellent
about
segue.
Community, right?
Yes.
And as part of the pillars of this lifestyle that we're creating for ourselves and for our today and our future. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So if you guys have followed along, we have started a series about diet mentality versus lifestyle mentality. And we're really trying to kind of pull out the pros and cons and look at this different way that we're approaching things. I know, Dr. Gilbert, in your practice, that's how you practice with your patients. As a coach, that's what I'm working on with clients. We're stepping away from that diet mentality and moving towards lifestyle. But not everybody understands what that means.
Yeah.
Now, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine has published a lot of information about the 6 pillars. And as a coach, if you're coaching with me, you hear me talk about these all the time. We work through your 6 pillars and make sure that all of them are standing strong. One by one, we're going to work through each one. And so if you're not familiar with the American College of Lifestyle Medicine and you're on my YouTube channel, you can click the link, and I've put a link there for you to go to their website. But there are 6 pillars, as we discussed last week, and potentially a 7th that they might be adding nature as the 7th pillar, which I'm very excited about. But today we wanted to talk about community. There's no certain order of the pillars, but the first one on the list is community or connection. And this is it's really all about your level of well-being in the area of connectivity with others, but also yourself. It's really about self-connection. Do I know myself? Do I love and treat myself well? Self-care. Do I understand my body's cues? Do I hear the emotions when I feel them? And can I understand them? But then also connectivity with our community, our churches, our schools, our local parks, online networks and communities. And then, just the ripple effect of your level of connectedness and being seen and heard. It's a really integral part of our health and well-being. So,
yeah, cool. So, Rachel, then, well, tell me about, why, so we're saying it's an integral part. um, let's talk about why that is so important. Why is it an integral part of our health?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in our brain maybe
Yeah,
when we're connecting?
exactly.
Yeah.
So here's what's really cool. I think we all have those experiences where we know that we feel better when we've hung out with a friend
Mm-hmm.
or hung out with a loved one or met up with that person we haven't seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel it. We feel the change in our biology. We feel energized or connected, really is the best word for it. But what we also know is there's science to explain that.
Yeah.
Brain scans actually show the brain healing,
Mm.
meaning it's reconnecting neuronal pathways. It's healing parts of the brains that maybe have been damaged or traumatized when we connect with another person.
Mm-hmm. And
And
you're not
this
just
is
about necessarily physical trauma. You're also talking about maybe that too, but maybe emotional trauma, maybe.
right,
Yeah.
right. Emotional trauma, stress,
Yeah.
overwhelm, right?
Mhm.
When we feel all these emotions and think all these things and we feel a little bit chaotic in our brains. We don't know what to do with the emotion we're feeling. We don't know how to really understand it.
Mhm.
And rather than avoid it, stuff it under a rug and pretend it doesn't exist, which is likely going to pop up later. They don't ever really go away.
Right.
Um, the healing is to connect with another person, and so that we know from science, which is just so cool because we can feel this in our real lives, but then to understand that they actually can see it now, the brain
Mm.
healing with connection with another person. Now here's the key to this piece. The person, of course, needs to be somebody you trust.
Sure.
You feel safe dropping this information off, and
Mhm.
you feel like you can be seen and
Mm.
soothed by this
Mm.
person.
Right. Right. That safe person isn't trying to fix it, right?
Right.
Isn't trying to give you advice necessarily, but that safe person is really someone who's listening
Yeah.
and maybe responding by telling you how they feel.
Mhm.
Or, yeah, but not necessarily trying to go in there and
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah, right.
So,
Give you what they think. We all know what
right.
that feels like. You're feeling something emotional. You feel like you gotta just talk or vent or get it off your chest. And the other person responds with, well, here's what you should do.
Right.
Or I don't think you should feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's some sort of fixing, and it feels defeating. Like, oh, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't get it. They didn't see me. They didn't hear.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, 9 times out of 10, a person knows what they're going to do next. They know the answer to their own
Right.
problems. In the moment of feeling and needing to connect, they need to just feel. They need to just
Mm-hmm.
share and be seen. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, that
Yeah.
person can respond with a great exercise that is laid out in this book I'm reading, Untangle Your Emotions by Jenny Allen. That she gives a great example of an exercise to practice with friends. Now, I'm going to admit it feels a little herky jerky and a little clunky. It's like we don't know how to talk this way, right? So it might feel a little robotic at first, and you're going to have to be really vulnerable and honest about what you're doing with the person and to ask
Yeah.
what you need. Here's what I
Right.
need from this conversation.
Yes.
And so she says, you're going to start with I feel. So you tell the person, hey, I'd like to share something. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'd like to hear how you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to avoid the words I think,
Mm.
and we're going to avoid here's what you should do.
Mhm.
Both people are, right? So the sharer starts off with I feel, and then you're going to bring up some language. You're going to try to find all the words to describe your language. If you don't have a big vocabulary of feeling words, there are many online
Oh,
wheels.
there you go.
This is the Calm app.
Mhm.
The feelings wheel. So you start off with the basics like I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm afraid. But then
Mhm.
you can kind of pick a more descriptive, more clear
Yeah,
word.
a little more nuanced word.
Yes, it goes a
Yeah.
little bit lower, it goes a little bit deeper so you can really understand what you're feeling.
Uh-huh.
And then you ask that person to share what they feel. So they might say, I feel frustrated for you in the situation
Mm.
you're in, or I
Mm.
feel concerned about
Mm.
what you're going through.
Mhm.
And then the conversation just continues with what you feel, not what you think about it, and not what they
Mm.
should do about it. So that's
Mhm.
a way to start with this connection.
Yeah.
Connecting with someone else.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. And I can see what were you used 3 words, how that the person would feel seen and then soothed and safe. And they really didn't even fix anything. It just, and it must do something. And I think you said this a little earlier, in your brain to, for that healing to take place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then, once we felt that and we feel seen, soothed, and safe, what our brains do with that emotion is it settles, right? What started as a chaotic bundle of energy and uncertainty kind of loses a little steam. It kind of, and that's reducing stress. Right. And then allowing you to switch over to the parasympathetic nervous system out of that fight or flight. And so there's a lot of healing on multiple layers that's going on from connecting, from connecting with someone.
I guess at the risk of being a little, maybe too much information, I had an experience with my little granddaughter. We were out, and she got frustrated and sad, maybe a little angry that somebody put the straw in her drink, and she wanted to do it. And I mean, she was, when you're 3, you just show your emotion. And she did. I mean, she cried and she was in a little ball and everything. And it was interesting to me to watch myself respond to her. And I started spinning like, okay, how can I fix this? Because everybody's uncomfortable and we're in the middle, and I'm like spinning in my head. And is this a mountain or a molehill? And it was so what I ended up doing is I just picked her up and I held her and let her feel safe, that she can feel her little feelings. And I helped her maybe name the feeling. You're feeling sad. You really wanted to do that yourself, And then, and I told her I loved her. And then, and then she just let that go, and moved on and did her next thing, so, I wish I would have kind of done some of this work when I was a younger parent, I think.
Yes. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
We don't want to shame or look back and I wish I would have, but gosh, I know now, when I'm talking to my adult college age kids, I'm saying, how do you feel about this? I may be starting late, but doggone it, I'm not going to, I'm going to ask you how you feel, and I'm going to give you space to feel it. And you're not going to be shamed. You're not going to be stuffed, or we're not going to avoid it. And we're going to talk about this. And, we haven't done this well as a culture.
Right.
We like, try those tears. Why are you crying? We all have experiences where we felt shamed crying, or we need to not show our emotions. When people speak in conferences and they tear up and then they get embarrassed and they say, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to cry. I'm thinking, no, please cry.
Right.
Show me you're human. I want to see. Right. And all of a sudden, whenever someone starts to cry and they're speaking, my ears perk up and I look and I listen like, oh, I'm seeing something special. I've just been invited into their emotion and I want more of it. I don't want them to hide and stuff.
Right.
Have you experienced that where
I'm experiencing it right now.
You're experiencing it now. Yeah. And suddenly I feel we're over Zoom and I feel connected to you and sensitive and tender and open to where you're at right now. Yeah. That's good.
Thank you. Yeah. So, right. So what I was thinking is that sometimes, sometimes we're going to have to say goodbye to some people in our lives. Yeah. That's going to be hard.
Yes.
Yeah. To get that
with community connection, right? Sometimes there are parts of this next journey that we're on, this next part of our healthy journey, and these relationships, these parts of our life no longer serve us, no
Right.
longer belong
Yeah.
in the healthy journey that we're moving
Right.
towards. And that's hard. That's you know, your patients, my clients on this journey, they feel that
Mhm.
it's hard. We
Mhm.
were joking before we pressed play about saying goodbye to your favorite barista,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's the gal who welcomes you to your day and is
Yep.
kind and friendly, and she knows your dog's name, and she is a connection. She's a friend. But sometimes that drive-through is the space of temptation and difficulty of
Right.
the health journey. Sometimes it's, um, you could go through and get a tea, but sometimes for a while we're learning this health journey, there are certain behaviors and habits, old lifestyles that we have to turn away from, and it's hard.
Right. And
Mhm,
and on the same, and the positive or thought
mhm.
is that there are groups that I can connect with that are doing
Yeah.
things that are,
Mhm.
maybe a book group, or maybe it's a biking group, or maybe a walking group,
Yeah.
so maybe it's a morning group that gets together and connects versus
Mhm.
an evening group that's more likely to go to the bar or something like that, you know,
Right.
right? So
Right.
so yeah. So what else? What is there out there? Who is there out there for me that I can
Mhm.
that and not only who's safe for me but who I can be safe for?
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, in many ways, we are called to bear the burdens of others,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we can give that gift to someone else as
Mhm.
well. They can do it for us, and we can do
Right.
it for them. And we when we turn away from some relationships, we
Mhm.
get to look for the next ones.
Right.
I love what you said. What else is out there? Where are my people?
Right.
The lifestyle that I want. Who are those people, and where are
Mhm.
they hanging out?
Mhm. Right.
What do they do?
Right.
They're not at the bar at night,
Yeah.
right? And they're
Right.
not at the drive-through. They're doing something else. What are they
Mhm.
doing?
Mhm.
Where are they hanging out? Where do you find
Mhm.
them? And that those supportive relationships, man, there is nothing like hanging out with people who all have the same mission and goal, right? The
Mhm.
purpose, like
Right.
um, whether it's a hobby or a specific activity you're doing or a faith-based community, you can find your people.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They're out there for you.
Yeah, they're
That's
out
right.
there. Mhm.
That's great. Yeah. So, um, and then I, I really want to come back to what you said um, about connecting with self too.
Mm,
You know,
mhm.
so because and some of those times can be, even as you're chopping your veggies,
Yeah,
or your salad. You think so, and just kind of
yeah,
checking in.
yeah.
Um, so I've been trying to make that, my meal prep time, like how's it going? How am I doing?
Ah,
And kind of a slow down time
mhm.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, rather than
What
rush,
a
rush, rush, rush. Yeah.
Yeah, what a great strategy, to turn something you want to do that you're
Mhm.
doing anyway
Mhm.
into a productive time of self-reflection,
Mhm.
certainly a lot of self-love because you're cutting vegetables, you're cooking food for your body,
Mhm.
right? You're looking at this food and going, I'm giving my body medicine from
Mhm.
food, and I'm treating myself well, and I'm
Mhm.
slowing down to enjoy it, to
Yeah.
appreciate it, and all of that gives us that time to I like how you're using that time to mindfully check in with yourself
Mhm. Chicken.
and kind of take the temperature of self. How am I
Right.
doing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, on that note, one of the things I'm trying is a new salad dressing. I connected with someone yesterday who shared a salad dressing recipe. So, I think I've been on this kick on this Meyer lemon dressing, and
Yeah.
and she's using a lime dressing, a lime juice dressing. So instead of lemon juice, she's using lime juice, but she's
Mhm.
actually adding more spices to it. Like I think there's smoked paprika in there. There's cut
Mm.
cilantro in there, a little garlic in there. So I'm excited to
Yum.
try that. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I'm going to try that on my kale salad. So rather than Meyer lemon.
Yum.
But yeah, what do you have going for dinner tonight?
For dinner tonight, I know what it is.
Connecting with your community?
Well, yes and no. So my normal community is not this week, but some girlfriends and I are starting a new book club on that book I talked about. I have a new group. And so we're starting on that Untangle Your Emotions. And it's a book club. And we've got all these, pre-printed resources that they give you that have the questions. But before that, I'm going to make just a simple recipe, but it's so good. It's black bean tacos, so to speak. So it's corn tortilla shells, but it's black beans and sweet potatoes and onions and bell peppers and I don't know, just a medley of different veggies in this little taco. So
fun.
Yeah.
Fun,
you kind of saute it all together.
Yeah. I wanted to share one more thing. I made a connection. I was with a friend yesterday, another friend, and she told me about flaxseed crackers that she's making. Ooh. So it's ground flaxseed with a little bit of water, just a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and whatever. She put rosemary. I put a little garlic in mine. Whatever you want to season it with, and then you roll that out on parchment, bake it in the oven. Oh, you can score it first, with a pizza cutter to score the small cracker, and then you bake it at 350 for 25 minutes. It's phenomenal because, you go every once in a while, you need a little cracker, a little crunch, and you go to the store and it's junk, right? There's just no great cracker. I mean, I guess there's Mary's Gone crackers. But this was so quick and easy, and I felt so good about eating it. And I'm going to have that with my lime juice.
Well, I'm thinking you could crinkle those over your salad as like a crouton, as a little crunch over your salad. So how much flaxseed? How much ground flaxseed would you say?
It's a cup of ground flaxseed, a third of a cup of water. Yeah. And then just a teaspoon of olive oil, a teaspoon, so it's a little bit of salt to taste. You can plus minus the salt. She put black pepper in hers. I put, and however you want to spice it up. You could cinnamon up and make it a little, you could go that way with it. You could go, you could go more savory with it. So you could put cloves and cinnamon and allspice in there. Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Yeah. I'm
excited to try it.
Yeah. So that's that little piece of connectivity there for you and the ripple effect. Yeah. And I know I got some healing in my brain going on. So
it's healing. And even just in our conversation, there's energy, there's excitement. We're both going to walk away from this conversation thinking more about what we talked about, inspired by the recipes, just motivated for continuing, moving forward, the next best step. And I hope people listening are feeling the same. They're taking away that little golden nugget of information. They're feeling challenged or encouraged or inspired or curious. Yeah. Right. And that's all positive energy. So I hope we're leaving you with that today. Positive energy.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll be back next Thursday. So with more good stuff. All right.
See you there. Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Bye.